Hi everybody, Buellin here, back with another Storyboard Basics video, and today we're going to change it up a little bit, not just do only a tutorial, but we want to do a tutorial with a bit of a book review at the same time. It's called Bridgman's Life Drawing, and this was something I first discovered in high school back in the day before there was an internet, and we basically was mesmerized by the stuff that's in here because it taught us a lot about basic shapes to create forms and to create anything technically, mainly the human body. And I rediscovered this last year when I was kind of going back into a journey of rediscovering my skill and relearning a few things you forget when you do so much work in one format for so long. You forget the simple things, and you need to go back and reintroduce that back into your psyche and your learning. And one of the things I learned was Bridgman's Life Drawing. This is one of my favorite books. I was able to find it on Amazon on the affiliate link you'll find in the comment or the description of this video wherever you're watching it. And you can go ahead and click and find yourself a practical copy, very cheap to get, or a Kindle version if you want to take around with you digitally and refer to it that way while you're doing some practical drawing somewhere else on paper and you want to have the iPad with the Kindle app and the book in there. And I just want to open this up and go, why are we bringing this up and why are we looking at this? Well, it's because it's got something great here called shapes. We've got simple shapes to create simple images. We've got great use of shapes, lines of action to create a great looking form. We understand what's happening here with the way these shapes are going. Here we have a very straight on with someone else on the floor. We have someone turning and curving and looking in the other direction, and over here looking up or to the side, and we understand where the light is also coming from, as well as where the actions are going to be taking place. It's kind of like predicting or foreshadowing where that action is going to go with its movement. And it's one of those things that I just love going back and referring to, and I have it really handy right here on my bookshelf right behind us here. And what I love is I love to go here and just take a look and understand the simpler things of how they go through and tell you just the basics. Storyboarding basics is about the basics. It's about basic shapes. It's about basic form. It's about basic lines of action, balance. And it's not super detailed, but you understand if you get your basic shapes down, you can have your detail in after, but you have to understand your shapes and your lines and your gestures before you go in and try and create something full on. A lot of things that people go through is that they go through their art journey trying to do the hyper detailed immediately first before understanding where your basic shapes are going to be. You have to understand where your basic shapes are going to be versus what they're going to look like at the end. So let's talk about the simple shapes that we can use in order to start building something that's amazing like this, using light and shadow and simple primitives just like this. I'm going to keep this up in front of us right here. I'm going to start this like this is why we're going to have a mix of both practical books and drawing tutorial today. It's kind of why I said it's going to be a little bit different. So I just want to make sure we have everything visible here that we can all see. Just gonna make this work. Little side rant: when you watch a video of a person in their studio and it's nicely lit and there's a big window and the pencils are sharpened and it's a beautiful quality, all the same tip sizes, and they have the perfect angles, and they're gonna start coloring and they have this beautiful soft voiceover. Those aren't artists. Those are YouTubers wanting to be famous for YouTube art. Artists work in their studios and show you in their raw element like I am doing. I'm just saying you can have that and maybe you'll learn something from them. I like to watch them too. Guilty of it. But you're not going to get the super nicely lit, pristine, blah, 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 because at the end of the day, it's about you learning the fundamentals that you need for storyboarding or storytelling. So where you're not going to see, if I'm ever in that studio, it means I've done well doing other things too, right? So let's hope I can have a nice studio thing and everything's sharpened. But I have a kid and my pencil sharpener is gone. My electric sharpener's dead, and I don't know where the other one went. So I've been using a knife and using sandpaper on this guy because it still works. So let's start with our basic shapes. Let's go. We're going to start with a square, just like we have a square here, but they've got it on an angle. So we're just going to go slightly angle. And this is kind of like playing with perspective. If you guys want a great tutorial on perspective, don't look at me. You know, I still struggle with it. Lots of people do. It's a shortcoming I have. And I think that if you want a great tutorial that I use for myself, I go to Proco, and they are great with all kinds of tutorials on there for art, and I love their channel. They're phenomenal. They're great people. They're great art teachers. I love watching them. You will too, I hope. So take a look at Proco on YouTube. Subscribe to them as well. While you're at it, go ahead, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Let the algorithm know you like what you're seeing. It helps us make more of these videos for you to learn some basic stuff in a few minutes. We're not going to spend a lot of time. We're just going to go ahead and understand. Here's the sun, just like this. I want to have a sun going down, and then we've got some cross hatching right there, just like this, of a square. So when we have a person's body, and we're going to take a look here, there is a great example in Bridgman here. I want you to look at this. Beautiful, beautiful gesture lines. Look at this. Shapes, curves, lines, movement, action, poetry, all of it. This section is called Rhythm. Guess when this book was made? Fun fact, it's 101 years old. Not this specific book that I have in my hand, not this printed version, but this book was originally printed 100 years ago, 1924, over 101 years ago. But the fundamentals are older than that. So the lessons you learn in this book that you can get in our affiliate link in the description of this video, you can get a practical version for cheap. You can also get an even cheaper Kindle version that you can carry around with you digitally on your phone or on your touch tablet, and you can use it anywhere you need to. If you ever want to have a sketchbook and you have your phone, you want some reference and maybe a quick little thing of what it takes to kind of do a specific shape, you can have those versions. Link is in the description of this video. Go ahead, click, it helps us out, and also go ahead and find it. The reason why I'm saying use this book is because this book's fundamentals are fundamentals that were taught to the greats hundreds of years ago, and it still has value today. Understand what has the value from this to give yourself that value later in your own work, okay? This is why we're talking about this. So you have your basic shape, your square. We're going to go like that. What else do we have? We have our spheres. We're just going to have a basic circle, right? Shade it that way, a bit of a shadow that way, right? We're just going to go like this. Like this. We just want that. We're going to have a triangle. Just like this. A tall triangle. Just like that. And it's going to have, I think if the sun's coming it this way, we're going to have a bit of a different shadow for this guy like that. Especially for this triangle. We're going to have a bit of shade there. And understand that these are all the shapes that we use. They all get curved and they all get changed. And then we have a cylinder. There's so many cylinders in everything that we look. 2 ovals connected by 2 sticks. And then shade. And then here's your shadow. There you go. Those are your basic primitive shapes. And then we have a gesture line. So if we were to do what they do here like this, we're going to have a gesture line like this. Look at this. Now it's really funny. I was trying to record this a few times earlier today, and I literally failed every single time. Completely transparency here, okay? Failed trying to record this twice. In the middle of recording this, my wife called me for something important, right? Paused it, started again. Now, what am I gonna repeat from that I think is very useful to everyone here? Drawing this in Bridgman style is like drawing Optimus Prime of the Transformers, okay? You've got all these things, these beautiful curves and shapes, right? Like this. And I'm just going to kind of go like right here. You know, it's all about not really caring where you put your lines. But when you're going to start building, you're going to use what? You're going to use squares. You're going to use cylinders. You're going to use spheres, triangles, and other kind of curves to kind of connect, right? It's a great way of just exploring. So if you were to think about what's Optimus Prime look like, Optimus Prime looks like a rectangle cut in half, two angles, another tall rectangle right here, right here, right here, okay? So far, we've got the chest and the bottom torso, and then we have another rectangle and an angled rectangle, shorter, more narrow at the bottom and there, okay? And then we're gonna have boxes, we're gonna have circles and put a box around it. We're gonna have box and circle, box, circle, box, circle. This is how we are building. You know, we're gonna put like a rectangle, it can be a cylinder even, and we're gonna put a box, okay? This is from stuff from a few shows ago. So what we're gonna do is go like this. We have our guidelines. Optimus Prime has 2 windows for the torso, right? And now we start to build in the details. He has the front grille for his abs. They simulate the abs, right? And then we have the, it's his little vent, light, and then we're gonna add the antenna like this, okay? And this is just how we have a triangle for the mouth grill, and then we're gonna have the top of the head, and already we see, when you add the other shapes in, you're gonna see we've got Optimus Prime here. One shall stand, one shall fall. I'm gonna hit you guys up with some of this bit of a chin for the mouth guard. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some Linkin Park music right in the background like this. This is a call to all Autobots. That's really bad. Frank, what's his name? Peter Welker. Is it Peter? I think it is. And Optimus Prime should be a smaller head, but you get what I'm saying. You're gonna start drawing what looks like Optimus Prime. What you're gonna end up with is a beautiful drawing of whatever it is. And we're gonna just erase a lot of these things. We always wanna get the line of action. We're gonna have like, I kind of feel like I got myself a bit of a Jack Kirby-ish thing going like here, and then this, and then like this, like that, right? And we're gonna have like, we'll just kind of go cylinders for the chest even, right? Like that. Like that. And then we're gonna have a thigh, and then the knee, and then I'm gonna have a calf muscle, right? Ankle, and then shoe. We're gonna have a shoe here, which you know, and we'll just go like this. This leg is too high, it doesn't look natural, so we're just gonna go like this. Go like that, like this. You can go like that. If it's like this. Even a box for the hand, and then you can draw the perspective of that, right? Just like this. If you're gonna draw the hand, you can draw the box, and then like this, and then you can draw the cylinder, right? And then there's a thumb, and then you can draw a little circle, and there you go. And then you can go detail, knuckle, 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 like that. Hand, shape, shadow, curve, rhythm, right? And what you want to understand is that you're going to have a form like this, and it's going to be all sketchy, but the idea is that you're going to make this perfect. You need to know what your form is going to be. You need to know what your image is going to say. It's going to have a certain type of action. It's going to have a story, like he's going this way, but he finds, or he or she or whoever it is finds something that way. If it's a she, you're going to go like this, and you're going to curve it in. You know, have that curve there. They all have, all the females and the males and everything still have the same shapes. It's just the amount of how narrow or wide you want to make those people's body types, right? There's different kinds of body types. There are very large men that are very fat and yet they're strong, or, you know, you're going to have very thin men who are also very strong. So it just depends, you know, where you want to have your shapes. They can have like a very snake-like, you know, snake hips, just very endomorphic or whatever, and have it like just like that. They're not going to have your traditional V-neck back. You're going to have like, you know, traditional like that. So you gotta understand that when you have your shapes and you look here, you know, I just did scribbles and I don't care because I'm enjoying this, right? I'm gonna have the sun there, that's my right. I'm gonna have the head there and a bit of a circle for the head, and a bit of the circle for the ear, like this, like that, okay? Just like this. Right, and just remember that the back has a back muscle. It's a very large muscle at the back. So what you want to do is make sure you incorporate just things like this. You want to be able to look at and understand and study the anatomy and understand and study things like you've got, you know, right over here, we're understanding that there is the rib cage, and then they worked up from that, and then they worked up and they added the meat of the body. We have the basic hips, basic shapes for basic hips. Basic hip. It looks like a Batman symbol, right? The Optimus Prime hip, right? Like this. Add the curve. Ball socket joint. Now it looks like Owlman. And then we're gonna add like a couple of like blocks, and that's like your knee bones, your joints, right? Because they connect there. I think that's the fibia there. It's like, it's huge, right? It's like the biggest, strongest bone there. And then it's split up a bit there, right? Your shin bone like that. Like that. And, you know, and then you can kind of go like this and build up the meat. Like that. And then you're going to go in. Remember your calf muscle on the inside larger. Like this. Like this. Like this. And you have your larger muscle on the top. Right, so you always have, and then there's a bit of there for the baby making parts, as I say, and you know, there you go, like this. Basic circles, basic. This is all you want. You want to have your basic shapes. You want your basic stuff. Remember, like and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that like and hit that bell for more videos. Go ahead in the comments and ask us more questions. Say what you liked, what you thought we were missing, what we should have brought up next time. We'll go back and we'll revisit that in the next video, right? Remember, we're doing this raw. We're doing this legit, almost live back on King TV back in the 80s. And, you know, they lasted forever. If you like Saturday Night Live, you watch that as well. Here we go, like this, like that, and a bit of the butt. There we go. Here we go, chest, abs, this, stomach, abs. There we go. Look at this. And we got the Bridgman stuff of basic shapes. Basic cylinder. You know, it looks like a weird mushroom, but it works. Like this. And you got your arms here. You got to always look at your own body type, right? You know, and you want to be able to go ahead and understand that these are the things that are the fundamentals of shapes. There we go. We got a bit of the human shape there. Right there. And chains. It's Superman breaking the chains off of his chest, right? Bit of a cape. There you go. Superman, my space Jesus, right there. There he is. Breaking the chains. And if we're going to go like this, remember, it's going to go like this, and it's going to go like this, right? We want those gesture lines. We got a line of action this way, you know, the bend, right? It's got that power as if he's going bang, right? You want that bang, like that. And you want to come this way. We got a line of action. We've got that line of action. We got the grounding of the legs here, right? And you want to have all of this here. You want to understand all of those. You want to understand that when you have your line of action, it all starts this way. Look, they all start this way. They all start basic line of action. And then it builds up into other shapes. What shapes? A shape. Remember, Optimus Prime, primitive shapes. Look at your favorite animation. What makes it work? What makes their style stand out? Don't look at the anime, which is hyper real and hyper detailed, because they spend a lot of time on that stuff, right? We want to look at the simpler looking shapes of shows, a Steven Universe even. You know, those are all pills. They're all oblong, ovals, squares, right? The bad guys are very triangular, angular. The heroes are always round and soft. What makes these shapes work, right? Neck, curve, shape, rhythm. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a curve. Thumb. There you go. Just a bit of a line. People are always like, how do I draw a hand? Very simple. How do you draw a hand? Start with the box. Knuckle, 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 knuckle. Done, 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 done. Down, 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 up, 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 up. And then we have 1, 2, 3. This is the thumb on top. Like this. And then we're going to have a bit of the curves to show the fingers. And then out. And this is the contour lines. Remember your contour lines. Your contour lines are if this were a wireframe mesh, that's what you're going to see. If this were a computer model. If this were a computer model and it was a retopologized model, not with a high poly count. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If it was just your most simple triangular quads, as we call them, it would be like this, like wireframe, and then down. Follow those lines of actions. If it really would help you, I would recommend going in and looking at some anatomy models in 3D in wireframe, and then you can understand exactly what it takes and where the lines of action are in the body, because that would help you understand. If you also want to help understand about lines and contour lines, I recommend drawing someone with segmented lines in their outfit, or even like a Colossus on the X-Men, or any character that's got that has like lines like this, Cable from X-Force, and those characters all have segments like this, and it just followed the contours of their shape. I recommend looking at Arthur Adams's artwork. He's been a master of the line, as far as I'm concerned, one of the greatest masters of comic art. I should actually do a book review of Arthur Adams's art, because I absolutely love his work. I was so happy to meet him when I was at WonderCon a billion years ago, and bought some of his art, actually his throwaway drawings. You can even go like this, it still works. If you want to learn more, you draw Spider-Man. If you want to learn more about basic primitive shapes to go like this, get this book and then draw Optimus Prime, and then work on the shadows. Because then when you work on the shadows, let's get a different color here. When you work on your shadows, what happens? You're going to understand if there's light over here, you're going to have shadows over there. And follow along here, around the neck, around here, around the chest, around the contour lines, right? We're going to leave a bit of light here on the edge, and we want to just kind of go with the curve, right? Like that. And then, the thumb is going to be it's going to cover that, and that's going to have a bit of shadow. Curve of the palm muscle, right? And a bit on the rib cage area, a bit here on the abs, around the hip, where the thigh is, where the outer calf is, the inner calf. Looks like someone being my daughter, got into daddy's tools. So here we go, and then some eye, and then some nose, and then some mouth. There you go. And that's how we basically figure out our shapes, our shadow, through simple primitives, by studying something like this phenomenal, one of my favorite books I've ever learned from, Bridgman's Life Drawings. Affiliate link, again, in the description of this video through Amazon. Get a copy on paper. It's cheap. You'll get it within days. Get a copy on Kindle. It's over 100 years old. The lessons are older, but that means it works. If it's still around, and you study this really well, you'll still be around long after you're out of the simulation and you're into the next element and you're into the next level. And I'm gonna call it a day. Bridgman's Life Drawings. Get your copy now. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Bulin. This has been Storyboard Basics, and I'll see you in the next one.